Hello, how are you? This is James. You're listening to JT's Adventure Podcast, number 8, I believe. And it is Saturday, the 5th of August, 2017. Wow, we're August. Yeesh, the summer is going by. Summer's flying right by. Mind you, I'm in a place right now where it's summer all the time, technically. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I haven't been posting the podcast, regularly. I'm at like a resting point now on my trip. I kind of got really lucky here in California. I'm staying at a friend's place while he's away in Canada doing some stuff, for his work, his career. And, I'm just hanging out here in California, in Orange County, in this big house with the pool and jacuzzi and all that stuff, Mexicans cutting the grass and, watering the plants. That kind of life, it's kind of what I'm doing right now. But won't be forever, so I'm just chilling out. I'm enjoying it while I can. Sorry about the very tired sounding version of myself right now. I'm just, in a really relaxed state. And, yeah, whatever. I guess I'll get on with all the things I'm supposed to talk about. Yeah, on the last podcast, I was leaving Houston. I was leaving my friend Tommy's place. And I was on my way to Austin, Texas. And Austin, Texas was all right. I wasn't really in the mood to really do anything that day, to be honest. I had a really good time in Houston, and, I had, a bit of a hangover the following day. Everyone was kind of hyping up Austin, too, telling me it was going to be a really good time. I could see how it could be a good time, but I just wasn't in the mood, It's like I've been partying so much. I've been just enjoying every single day. It's like every day's just been amazing on this trip, and that was like the one burnout day I had, I guess. I was just tired. I just did a weekend in New Orleans. And then when I go to Houston, Tommy's there, you know, gave me a place to stay, and we partied, pretty hard that night. And, when I got to Austin, too, there was a different feel there, because it is a younger crowd. It's a college town, I think, or university, whatever. And, there's like, they got their strip there with all their bars. There's lots of music going on and stuff like that. I didn't really know anything, in terms of sightseeing to go look at, But, whatever. I thought it was messy. It's a really messy city. There's just shit everywhere. A lot of homeless people, a lot of beggars. Like I couldn't walk for like more than maybe a minute without somebody asking me for $1. And if they're not asking me for $1, they're asking me for like, you know, a meal. And they got this huge story, like, oh, my wife and I broke up, and we lost our house, kids were taken away from us, and, just like a bunch of bullshit, right? And, so that was annoying, like really annoying, because it was actually really bad. Like I'm not even exaggerating the whole 1 minute thing. It's like you literally walk for a minute and someone's bothering you for something. It's annoying. I couldn't fucking turn around without somebody getting in my face about something like that, so whatever. I was trying to find a place too to just hang out, and nowhere seemed really inviting, It was a Sunday, not everybody was out like going crazy, but it's like, I don't know, it was just, everything was messy and everything was like dingy. It's like it's one thing to have like a dive bar, but you can't just have like five dive bars in a line, you know. Every bar has like a promoter slash bouncer guy outside, you know. Like everybody was looking at me, you know, when I was walking down the street, you know, and everybody's looking at everybody on the street, you know. It was weird. I didn't like the feeling I got, you know. So whatever. I went back to my car. I just ate a can of beans and went to sleep. And of course, as I tried to sleep, you know, there's always going to be a parking lot story, right? I got parking lot stories for almost every single parking lot I stay in. Anyways, this time, some car decided to park right in front of me, you know, like reversed parked in front of me. And, you know, they started doing it in their car. You know, I think he had like a hooker with him. 'Cause I just saw him get out of his car and walk around, hop in the back seat, and the car starts like wobbling, you know. At first, I was like, "What the fuck?" I thought this guy was like gonna come and check out my car or something like that, you know, because he got out of his car and walked towards my car. So like, I'm gripping the crowbar, and I'm just like ready to fucking jump out of the car and start smashing his head in, right? But he just like kind of cuts off and then goes in the backseat of his car, and then I just see the car wobbling back and forth. I'm like, ah, I laughed. I laughed. Whatever. I was a bit annoyed too because, you know, now it's like, they're gonna be there for a while, you know. But they weren't. They were there for like 10, 15 minutes. That was funny too because when the girl got out of the car, you know, she had like this bright red wig on, you know. And she's like, "That's it. That's it. That's all you're gonna get," you know. I guess he didn't have more than like $20 on him or something. I don't know. Anyway, so they left. I crashed. And when I woke up the next day, I made my way to the Grand Canyon, which was a hell of a drive. 'Cause I literally had to drive through the rest of Texas, which was about a day, and then through all of New Mexico and a chunk of Arizona, which was like another day. And I can't remember where the pit stops were. I took 2 pit stops. One was in New Mexico, obviously. But there was another one too. Oh yeah, one was. I think they were both in New Mexico, or something. Yeah, well, first I'll tell you about the drive through Texas. It's pretty cool. It's cool because you see the beginning of flatland, desert land, canyons and stuff like that. It doesn't really start in Texas. It starts in New Mexico. There's still lots of green in Texas. It's farmland. And, there's not really a desert there, I don't think. Maybe somewhere else, maybe more south or something. But I was coming from the south, like Houston is the south of Texas. And then you go to Austin, it's a little bit more northwest, and then just kept going till I got to the 40. Took the 40 all the way to Arizona, Yeah, it was mostly farmland. I saw a lot of cows, a lot of free-range, grass-fed cows, which was nice, as a vegan, of course, it's nice to see those animals being treated fine, They do die eventually, but whatever, at least they get to eat the grass. It's funny, too, those cows, they don't look around, They're just, quiet, eating the grass, chewing away. They're all shiny and stuff. They look healthy. And then, of course, I drive a few miles more, and I just see, this disgusting farm, man. Poor cows. I remember just seeing this big smog, this brown smog covering the highway. And, you can't see shit, what the fuck is that? And it starts to stink, really bad, the worst thing I've ever smelled. When you drive around, I guess, in Canada, or most places, just drive by farms, you smell whatever, hay and manure and stuff like that, and yeah, it stinks, and, but it's bearable. This was not bearable. And, I looked, too, to see, where it was coming from, and I just see, hundreds of cows, man, all just, packed up together in these aisles and like these gates and stuff, and they're just like no room to move. They can't even turn around, and they're just making cow sounds and stuff. Like it was really hard to look at, and it sucked too because it was a big farm, so like I didn't just get to drive right by it, like it was stretched on for a bit, and it's like, I guess those animals can't really like go and shit somewhere and then just walk around. They literally shit where they stand, and then they shit again where they stand, and then their neighbors are shitting where they stand, but they're fucking touching buttholes, It's disgusting. Yeah, and then you look next to them, then you have the I guess the slaughterhouse or whatever they do in there. There's so many different kinds of farms, different ways of doing all that evil. I don't know what was going on in that one, but that's where all the smoke and smog and stuff was coming out, and it was just disgusting, man. Disgusting. So, it's safe to say that all that shit you read about there, it's pretty real, And unfortunately, those mass-produced cows are the ones that you find in grocery stores, Same goes with every other animal you find in a grocery store. And, whatever. I don't want to talk too much about that, but just letting you guys know that shit's real. Of course, after I drove through that, I did get to see something beautiful. I saw a bunch of wind turbine fields, which were super cool, I remember the first one I saw when I was driving, my mind was like blown. I was like, whoa, and they're huge, these things, huge. And I saw them. I saw a few, I'm like, oh, cool, And then I look into the distance and I just see like thousands, like fields of these wind turbines. And I was like, whoa, man. And like the sun was setting too, so the clouds were giving like this cool effect, and there was just a bunch of colors coming from the sky, all raining on these wind turbines, and it was just a beautiful sight, man. I tried to take some pictures. I'm gonna put them on the video there on the podcast, but they don't do it justice. To be honest, none of the pictures I took on this trip do anything justice. It's, you got to see it, really, And yeah, there was a moment there where the clouds kind of opened up, and you just see like the sun rays kind of hit a little group of the wind turbines, and it was very beautiful. It was just like it was a reminder that clean is good. Clean energy is good energy. Positive energy, and whatever stuff like that. You know what I mean. So yeah, after that, that's around the time when I had to pull over, I guess. Yeah, I pulled over right when I got into New Mexico. And I just crashed like behind this hotel. Actually, I parked behind this restaurant, and this guy comes out the back, and he's looking at me, because it's the end of the night, he's closing, and there's a back door. It's sketchy, And I tell him like, hey man, I'm just hanging out, man. I'm taking a break before I get back on the road. He's like, oh, that's cool, man. It's, sometimes people sleep, and they usually park their car there. He's like under the tree and stuff like that. It's a bit more secluded. I'm like, oh, cool, man, And I was going to take his advice and park there and sleep there, but I don't know this guy. So I didn't want to park somewhere where he told me to park. Because then he'd probably come in the middle of the night, knowing there's some kid there, So I parked behind a hotel. And I slept pretty good there, because the humidity it was gone at that point, because I was sleeping in my car in Florida and stuff. And it was brutal, man. Even like in, South Carolina on the coast, New Orleans too, man. Waking up covered in sweat. But the 40 highway that goes through America, east to west. It's a bit north, it's central. It's right in the middle of the country, so it's like it's not crazy hot, crazy humid, It's hot, don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad. So I actually slept pretty good, And it's funny because when you get over the humidity, like just the fact that the air was breathable and I wasn't dying of heat and stuff, it's like the comfort of the car too was bearable, Like I was able to sleep in any position because I just didn't feel hot. You know, it was whatever. Um, Funny story about sleeping there. I found this dog. You know, it's like there's stray dogs everywhere in New Mexico. It's like as soon as I rolled in and I got gas, there's literally like 5 dogs just parked in the like sitting around in the middle of the gas station. You know, like in front of the pumps and stuff. You gotta like yell at them to get them to move so you can park your car and put fucking gas in the car. And the dogs are really just hanging out there because it's the only place they can find shade. That's one thing I noticed too in New Mexico and Arizona, in Nevada as well. It's like hard to find shade. You know, it's just all open. You know, there's not really high trees anywhere and stuff like that. It's just the sun beaming down. And nobody drives with their windows open. I notice everybody's got their windows shut. I guess they got the air conditioning blasting. You know. That's how it is here. You know. Yeah, so what I found this dog, and you know, I had this moment, you know, because it was a clean dog, it was friendly, you know, and it was just running around trying to find something to eat, you know. And in my head, I'm like, you know, I could take this dog, you know, I could take it with me on the road, you know, be cool to have a little partner, you know. But then I started thinking in the long run, you know, like I'm going to a friend's place in California, I can't just bring a dog there, you know. I'm moving to Vancouver, you know, I can't bring a dog that I found over the border, you know. And, you know, I gotta find a place to live and stuff, and having a dog, yeah, it was just like a stupid idea, but it was a fun idea, you know. Because, you know, I wasn't gonna go buy a leash for this dog, I was just gonna buy a bag of food for it and, like, feed it. And, you know, whenever I get to the next town, open the door and let the dog out, and if the dog wants to run away, and whatever, if it gets hit by a car, you know, I don't give a shit, you know. But if it would have come back with me, fuck yeah, you know. But whatever, I made the right decision to not take the dog. And it's really funny too because as soon as I decided that I wasn't gonna take the dog and I got in my car, the fucking animal control guys rolled up and just like fucking wired the dog, you know, with those like braces there. It's like a kind of like a leash collar thing with a pole or whatever. Yeah, so then I got back on the road, right? And driving through New Mexico was really cool, really fucking cool. You know, because it's all canyons and deserts and stuff like that, you know, and, you know, you have like little shrubs, there's no trees, and the highways are long, you know, super long. You can see that wavy heat there going on, you know. And it was cool. I was totally into it. It was a total trip driving around those canyons because, you know, you're going up and down all the time, your ears are popping, constantly swallowing, you know, to unpop your ears, you know, or pop your ears, whatever. And it was cool, man. It was like watching the Wile E. Coyote chase the Roadrunner. You know, it's exactly what it was. And it only got better and better and better as I got closer to the Grand Canyon. You know, it starts off with desert land, and then you just start the canyons start, you know, showing up. And like when you get into Arizona, the canyons get pretty big, you know. And I'm like, oh man, like, am I in the Grand Canyon now? Because I never been. Obviously, I saw pictures, but like the pictures, like I said, don't do justice, you know. And I thought I was in the Grand Canyon already. I thought I was driving around, and I guess this is it. You know, it's pretty cool. I was already blown away by the scenery, you know. But then when I got to the Grand Canyon, I was like, oh, okay, I understand now. And the Grand Canyon, guys, it's something. It's totally something, man. Like, I remember the first, like, pullover spot where you can go take pictures. I just stood there. I just fucking stared out, and it's big. It's all tourists, too, around there. You know? All these families and stuff, because they have, like, camping and stuff like that. They got hotels on the Grand Canyon, you know. There's, like, a grocery store and stuff like that, a general store. You know, because they have the Grand Canyon Village, you know. You pay $30 to get into the park, which I think is a fucking ripoff, you know. Because you pay $30 and you could stay in the park for 7 days or a day. You know, it's like you pay $30 for a day or 7 days. You know, it's stupid. I just wanted to go in for like an hour. I was in for like a fucking hour, just driving around, taking pictures, whatever, you know, maybe 2 hours. I was just there for the day, just to check it out. Like I do plan on going back one day because I'd like to do the hikes. I love to actually go into the canyon, down at the bottom. Go check out the Colorado River or the Phantom Ranch or all the temples and stuff like that. Just walk around and climb. It looked really cool. That's the first thing I thought of when I got there. A lot of people were telling me that when I see the Grand Canyon, I might kind of feel like this weird kind of sadness of like irrelativity, which I guess I kind of felt, but it's like at the same time it was like a challenge, It's like sure I felt small, and the world is a big place, but like I'm traveling the world right now, This is the beginning, and I'm going to see as much as I can, or just the shit that I want to see, really. And I'm gonna be on the other end of the planet, seeing it. So I didn't really feel like hopeless or useless, Like it was a challenge. It was a reminder that the world's big, and I need to do what I can do to see it all, To become bigger as a person, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. That's the whole point, right? But I also wanted to go down into the canyon. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw it. I'm like, ooh, I want to go down there. Like, it was cool to see like, the whole thing, take pictures and be high and above everything. But it's like I wanted to be down in the hole. I want to be in the fucking hole. Anyway, so moving on from the Grand Canyon, you guys will see all the pictures. I took a couple selfies. Don't make fun of me, all right? I kind of had to. It's the Grand Canyon. It's kind of like the place you take a selfie out of all places. That and J Peak, or Mount Everest. Sorry. J Peak. What was the fuck about J Peak? Yeah. So whatever. I got back on the road, and I was gonna go straight to Vegas. Because it wasn't that far. It was like a 4-hour drive or whatever. But I didn't want to get there, like, too late, I'm trying to remember, like, that. Yeah, because I slept, like, on Route 66, Because I kept driving, like, Route 66, by the way, it's not really, like, in Texas. Like, I saw a couple signs to get off to go to Route 66, but it's more in New Mexico and in Arizona, because that's the real desert land, and Nevada as well. So that's what you'll see all the signs driving along the 40 to get off and go to historic Route 66. That's when all the historic stuff starts, because it's like an untouched route. Everything is old. All the stores and cafes and whatever, hotels, motels and stuff, they're all the same, And you'll see some pictures when in the video, like I didn't sleep in the Motel 66. I slept in the parking lot of the Motel 66. And it got pretty damn cold there at night. All my windows, like, kind of fogged up, And I was like, I actually, like, used a blanket for the first time, Anyways, so that was cool. It was cool to see Route 66. I would have driven on it longer, but it's just not as fast as the highway. I'm trying to get to places, I got a deadline to beat. Well, I don't really have a deadline to beat, but my friend in California was waiting for me. Because I want to spend 2 nights in Vegas. But it was more important to me to come and see my friend here before he left. And it was kind of worth it, because I am staying in his house now until the end of the month, I got a whole month almost here in California. Just living, literally, like, in California, like, living in a mansion. But I'll tell you guys all about that on the next podcast. But, yeah, where was I? I was talking about Vegas. Yeah, Las Vegas. Okay, how long is this podcast? Like 25 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like talking for too long. But I'll tell you a little bit about Vegas, and then I'll cut it off, all right? So hopefully it won't be more than 30 minutes. Yeah, so I slept on Route 66. Bam, in the morning I got up and I made my way to Vegas. And it was cool getting there early. Was a good idea, because I got to hop on my bike, and just bike around Vegas and just get to know where everything was, And parking is free in Vegas. You can go to any hotel that says self-parking, and you just drive in, park your car, change your clothes or whatever, and you're good to go for the whole day and the whole night. It's one of the the things that makes Vegas Vegas. Vegas has like their own rules, and they have their own traditions, and they have their own way of things, which is what makes Vegas Vegas, right? And yeah, so I parked my car in the Tropicana Hotel, and I hopped on my bike, and I went to go check out this museum that my friend Ted was telling me about. Um, it's like the atomic bomb museum, but I wanted to go and see the Area 51 museum, and apparently those two museums are kind of connected, and they kind of have like the thing going together. But the Area 51 museum hasn't begun yet. It was originally in some other state or city in Nevada, and they were doing another one in Las Vegas. So I got there. I was about to go in, but part of me was like, like I gotta go to Cali tomorrow. There's so much to see in Vegas. I want to see all the hotels. So I biked around. I just checked everything out, and I bought like a thing of fruit, like one of those big pre-cut fruit things, and I tried to find some shade somewhere to eat it because the sun was just beaming. And yeah, I finally found some shade in this funny place, and there was a couple that walked by me, and they're like, this actually is probably the only shade we'll find for like another mile, so let's just take a break here. And they sat down like just like a couple windows after. I sat on a window ledge. And yeah, I ate my lunch, biked around some more, and then I realized it's fun to bike around Vegas because you can kind of see everything, but you can't really go and check everything out. So to lock your bike up all the time. And the Tropicana Hotel where I parked my car is like at the north end of the strip, I think, or the south end. Right? It's at the end or the beginning of Las Vegas Boulevard where the strip starts, which is like the perfect place to park because I brought my bike back, I locked it up on my car, and I changed into some nicer clothes, and I packed a pair of shoes and some jeans just in case like I wanted to go somewhere and they wouldn't allow us, which was not the case. You're pretty much allowed to wear what you want there. And yeah, and then I just browsed around for hours, just walk around on Vegas, Las Vegas Boulevard. I checked out all the hotels. I checked out Tropicana, of course. I checked out New York, New York, which is where I did some gambling, and I had a few drinks at the Fine Nine Irishman, which is an Irish pub. And yeah, I checked out the Cosmopolitan, which is a beautiful hotel, by the way. I didn't even know it existed. I just kind of stumbled across it when I was going to like the Bellagio or whatever, and it's really nice, like really nice. It's probably the nicest one, at least the casino part of the hotel. Bellagio, obviously very beautiful. They had that whole water fountain thing in the front, which was really cool. It only comes on at night, and they play music really loud, and they sync up the fountain with the songs. It's like a show, and it's like this goes on all night, song after song after song. I could have stayed there all night, man, because you're allowed to drink on the street as long as it's not in glass. And yeah, I think I watched like they did Bruno Mars or something, and some other cool stuff. Yeah, I checked out the MGM Grand, super cool. Caesar's Palace, which is huge. I mean they're all huge, but Caesar's Palace was just, like complicated, huge. Like it's like its own. I don't know. It's like I couldn't take a picture of the whole thing. You'll see on the pictures. There's a picture of the MGM Grand. I got two different angles. And I got a picture of the Bellagio at night and at day. During the day. And but Caesar's Palace, I couldn't get a picture of it. I could only get a picture of like one entrance, then the logo, and then fucking other logo right on the other entrance, and then I tried to get the whole building on one side, but that was just one part of the whole thing. There's another building as big that was part of the same hotel. And so I was like, what's going on? It's kind of cool though because I recognize a little bit, especially all the scenes in the movie The Hangover. It's the first thing I thought of when I got into Vegas, and I actually went looking for that best little chapel. And if you look up online, if you write best little chapel, it'll say white little chapel. it'll bring you to that one because that's a real one in Vegas, and it looks very similar, but it's not the one. I actually went to find the location where they actually did the best little chapel where they had the wedding in the first hangover, and they actually built it. I read online that they built it around this other like kind of head shop or something like that. It was a strip club or something, or like a, yeah, it's a stripper's joint, and they just built this chapel on top of it. You'll see when I post the pictures. I took a picture of this random building. That's the building, the little thing, and you'll see there's a picture of a Gandolfini, right? I forget his first name. And is it Gandolfini? I don't know. The fat guy, the fat Jesus. Yeah, there's a picture of him like on the side, in graffiti style. Um, so you'll know what I'm talking about when you see that. So that was cool to find that. It was actually a pain in the ass to try and find it because I was biking around everywhere. I'm like, that's not it. That's not it. There's chapels everywhere. There's literally a whole part of the strip is chapels, and once you get past the chapels, then it gets like downtown Vegas. That's when you have like all the restaurants and hotels and stuff like that. Yeah. So what was I doing? I was checking out the hotels, right? All the hotels, they're pretty much the same. To be honest, man, you can stay in any hotel there. You'll have a great time. You walk in, you have the lobby, and then you have like, the corridors, and you literally just walk around. All it is stores, restaurants, bars, and casinos, and you can go into every single hotel, and it's the exact same recipe. It's the exact same thing. And it's all high class, fancy shit. So I mean, and they all have a pool, right? Which I tried to get into one of them, but the guy's like, "Where's your hotel pass?" I'm like, "Ah, man, I forgot it. I forgot my towel too, and I'm all alone here." Yeah, no, it didn't work out so well. MGM Grand is cool because they have the big auditorium there. But all the other ones are pretty much similar. I did a little bit of gambling, because when I got there, I asked the bartender at the Fine Line Irishman, Irish pub, how it worked, how the gambling thing worked, because I heard that you can drink for free while you're gambling. And he said, yeah, it's all true. So I'm like, if I play penny slots, can I drink for free? And he's like, you can, technically, but I mean, you're relying on the waitress who's coming by and offer you a drink, and she's going to spend most of her time at the tables, for the guys playing, poker or blackjack or shooting craps or whatever. And, so I was like, oh, I see, and in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'll wave her over, but he told me they just play at the bar, they have, like, video poker machines on the bars, and you have a bartender right in front of you who's making you drinks, like, just put in $20, bet the minimum, shoot the shit with the people next to you, watch some TV or whatever, talk to the bartender, and then next thing you know, you got 5 drinks in you. And you didn't have to put $20 in. I could have put $10 in. He doesn't check. He doesn't give a fuck. And I think those guys are paid by the hour or something. They don't really make tips, because they're making free drinks and whatever. I left a tip, of course. I didn't win. I didn't win anything, But I felt like a winner because 5 glasses of whiskey where I'm from is a lot more than $20. So yeah. After that, I went walking around again, because it's one thing to walk around during the day, and then one thing to walk around at night, And like I said before, I went to the Bellagio. I checked out the water fountain. They synced up all the music and stuff. It's a good show. And yeah, I kind of regret not staying there though, because I could have just hung out in front of that water fountain forever. It was so cool. I wanted to walk around, go check out some other casinos because technically it's cheap. It's cheap. Like I only spent $20 at that one casino, and I got to drink a lot. And then I went to the Walgreens and I bought like a big can of beer, which was like $5, and I would walk around the street in Vegas just checking stuff out, and it's like I literally only spent $25. So I was up for going to another casino and stuff, but I wanted to go check out this local bar, that the bartender was telling me about, because I wanted to see what it was like just briefly, just pop in and see what it was like. for the locals, because this is like a kind of place where all the people that work on Las Vegas Boulevard, they go and hang out on the outskirts of Vegas. And unfortunately, as I was going to this bar, I realized how far it was, and I was already like halfway there, and I'm like, shit, like, should I just go check it out, or should I just go back, and I should have just went back to Vegas. I should have just went back to Las Vegas Boulevard. I went to this place. It was called Double Down. It's kind of cool, but it was like a punk rock bar. Like as soon as I walked in, it's just like, super dark, no windows. There's just like shit all over the walls. Pictures or whatever, and they're blasting like, I don't know, Rancid or Misfits or something. I'm trying to find something to play, and it's like this old jukebox with like CD flippers, and I'm like, man, it's all punk music, there's nothing for me here, so I had like one free drink, I put $5 in the video poker, played, and had a free drink, and I left. And then when I got back, I decided to pick up a burrito, a vegan burrito, and I was trying to find a peaceful place to eat that where there weren't like a bunch of people, because I don't know, I'm like a squirrel that way, I like to eat alone. So I go to my car, I eat the burrito in the car in the parking lot, and I end up passing out in my car, and then I get woken up by like the parking lot guys, like, yo, you can't sleep here. So I had to leave, and I ended up parking by the CVS pharmacy, which is like the Jean Couture or Pharmaprix out there, well, down here. Whatever, I slept well, whatever. And then the next day, when I woke up, I made my way to California. So all in all, Vegas was a pretty sweet time. I definitely plan on going back. I want to go with friends. I know where everything is. I got to, that's what's actually been the coolest thing about this whole trip to the United States. Like, you tell me where you're going, it's like, I'll tell you where to go. I know all the places, You go to Boston, you do the Sam Adams Brewery tour. You go to Faneuil Hall, Faneuil Market. In New York, New York, you'll pretty much be set anywhere you go. Just go downtown Manhattan or Rockaway, check out the Brooklyn, Go to D.C. You have Connecticut Avenue, 19th Street, M Street, N Street, that corner. Go to Charleston. Charleston's pretty small, right? So you just go to Market Avenue or Market Street. You're in North Carolina. Don't go to Wrightsville. Go to Carolina Beach. Don't bother with Myrtle Beach. Don't bother with Daytona Beach. Just go straight to Key West. I didn't see Miami Beach, so I couldn't tell you, but I heard it's all hype. Wynwood is the cool place to go in Miami. New Orleans, obviously, Bourbon Street, or Frenchman Street, which is another cool strip. Houston, I can't remember. Sorry, guys. Houston, I was in Midtown with Tommy. Austin, if you go to Austin, Texas, the cool place is 6th Street. 40 Highway is what takes you from east to west, Vegas, obviously, Las Vegas Boulevard. I would have liked to go to Phoenix, actually, now that I think about it. I'm in Orange County, California right now, and, take the 55, brings you all the way to Newport, to the beach. And you have Tustin, which is like my reference street, which is all the stores are and stuff like that. Taft, Chapman, the Orange Circle, or Old Town. And I still got some stops left, like after Cali, I'm going to Portland, Oregon, yeah, and then Seattle, or vice versa. I got to look at the map. Yeah, and I think I'm doing San Francisco, obviously, before I get there. I'm going to see my friend Jason's brother in Monterey. And yeah, as I'm rambling, I don't know. I didn't have to talk about all that stuff. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So that's Vegas, right? I'm in Cali right now, and I'll tell you all about what I've been doing here in California because it has been a pretty awesome and special time. So yeah, you guys have a good one in Montreal or wherever you are listening, and I'll get back to you in a couple weeks. Okay? You guys take care.